Episode 169 of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. I am B Money, the producer. That over there is the talent, Travis Hartman, aka Weekend Trav. We got the Battle of the Millionaires coming up here. $40 million. Jake Paul taking on $20 million payday. Mike Tyson this Friday, November 15th, AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. You can watch it on Netflix if you have subscription already for free, Weekend Trav. Whew. We talked about it last episode, which was about 10 days or so ago on 168. But we want to dive a little deeper into the match itself, as well as the co-main event here and talk. So let's start first main event. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I'm going to toss it to you, and let's run with it.
Listen, this is a real sanctioned pro fight. 8 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves, no headgear. So it's essentially real. When I say real, I've been having a conversation back and forth with my real professional boxing buddies who fought themselves as well. And they're like, this isn't real, Trav. It's 8 2-minute rounds. That's not real. I get it. It's not. But according to the Texas State Athletic Commission, who is the governing body, this is a real sanctioned professional boxing match that will go down on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's official record as a real sanctioned pro fight. So now that I got that out of the way, um, this is ironic, right? What is Tyson? 58 or did he just turn 59? I forget, but it's 58 or 59. And something in like 4 months. But either way, Jake Paul's 27. We have a 27-year-old facing off against a 58-plus-year-old legend. B Money, I don't know what I'm expecting for this, man. The odds are looking all over the place, too. It was like plus 2,500 or plus 3,500 for a draw. It dropped all the way down to like plus 1,400 now for a draw,
Mm.
which is really weird to me. I also have heard through the grapevine, I can't reveal my source because I don't want to get him in trouble, but that the more the fight goes on, the more pay Mike Tyson receives out of his guaranteed 20 million. Meaning, if he knocks Jake Paul out in the first round, supposedly, I'm not confirming it because I didn't personally see it, but I trust this person. This person has seen those contracts, have told me that there is a per round stipulation, meaning if he knocks him out early, he
Doesn't
doesn't
get
get
paid
his
as
full
much?
money.
I don't like
So
that.
I think that my whole thing this whole time is I don't think there's going to be a knockout. I think this is going to go 8 rounds.
Yeah.
But it's a the odds makers don't believe that though. The odds makers say it's like plus 250 to go the distance, which means it's an underdog,
Mm.
right? Anytime it's plus.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to say is I want Mike Tyson to knock him out. Okay. That's it. I want Mike Tyson to knock out Jake Paul. Can he? I don't know. I really hope he can. I hope we see a glimpse of the mean Mike Tyson. I know that Mike wants to. It seems like it. He seems serious about it. But B Money, we're all getting older. We all know this that sometimes our mind doesn't catch up to our body. Like our
Mm.
mind might think we're young, but your body's like, no, bro, you're 58 or you're 59. You're chasing a 27-year-old around the ring. So I don't know what's going to happen, B Money. I'm not a big fan of this fight. I think it's a spectacle for sure. It's what people don't realize is I was talking to a guy today. This is the whole card though is other real professional boxing
Sure.
matches. I know we're going to
Sure.
talk about Serrano later. She's a co-main event, but there's other real pro fights on this card. It's not just Tyson
Yeah.
versus Jake Paul.
You got Mario Barrios, champ of WBC welterweight title on the line. Bruce Carrington's fighting. We did have local talent Corey Marksman until he got hurt his shoulder.
Injury
So
against
there,
Body.
yeah, Body's still fighting. They found a replacement, but yeah, so there's other fights on it, but everyone's tuning in for the main event.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo your points here, your sentiment. I don't know. My expectation is this, and if that is true about the contract, which I really hope, because that just feels dirty. It feels slimy to me.
It does. If you're
It's
Vegas, you don't
it's
like
it's
that.
it, it's incentivizing a guy that might have the potential of knocking out a younger opponent to keep going the distance if money were tied up in that. I don't know. I've kind of felt in my gut that it's going to be full 8 rounds, overwhelming, you know, overwhelmingly going to Jake Paul's favor. Maybe Mike Tyson gets a round or two out of that. When we saw a few years back Mike Tyson take on Roy Jones Jr., it was similar setup for the
Yeah.
fight. It was,
There
I
was
think it was
eight
two
two minute
minute.
rounds,
Yeah,
headgears though.
and I remember watching that. Now, granted, he's taking on Roy Jones Jr., who's also old now.
But that was also like Tyson was like 54,
But
55.
he, but the first like 2 rounds, I'm just like, he's like holding back. It felt like he was holding back out of
Tyson was.
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of respect for Roy. But once again, Roy wasn't a 27-year-old strapping young man. Mike
Yeah.
Tyson, just look, he's 58, right? He's 58
Jake Paul's
going into
6'1",
this.
200 pounds too. Like nobody's talking about that. He's bigger.
Yeah, and no one's
I know
also
it's Mike
talking about
Tyson.
his no one's talking about his acne and all that stuff too, and what might also be in the system. But I just don't know, Weekend Trav. How in the world? Here's what I hate about it being sanctioned is that when they have to tell you the details, like it's 2 minutes, eight rounds, 2 minutes, it's sanctioned, and when they tell you, well, there's no headgear involved, and knockouts are acceptable.
Are permitted,
Well, of
right?
course
Like
they are, right?
obviously, yeah.
It should be. So why are we saying
Yeah.
that? It just has this feel about it. It has from the start. I haven't liked it from the start.
Yeah. I don't want to this is probably the one fight that honestly I'm not going to make a prediction on. I don't have a prediction for this, and I know that's I'm taking the easy way out there, but I don't like it because I don't want to make a real prediction and then come to find out this contract that we're talking about was real, where they couldn't
Yeah,
knock where
because
Jake
the
or
X is
there
in.
could be knockouts are permitted, but they're saying that the earlier Tyson knocks him out, if he even does, right, he doesn't get his full pay. So that's why I think definitely it's going to go some rounds for sure. But I don't know, man. If here's I'll tell you this, like I said, if Mike Tyson knocks out Jake Paul, I'll be a very happy man. And I'm not saying that to talk shit on Jake Paul at
No,
all, because
no.
I'm not. But I do not want to see Jake Paul beat a real boxing legend. Okay.
Mm,
Mike Tyson is a real boxing legend. And
right.
I wonder in my heart of hearts what Customato is doing right now when he's in heaven or wherever he is, who was Tyson's original trainer, looking down, being like, Mike Tyson's fighting Jake Paul. Who's Jake Paul? So I don't know. And
Some
I
guy
don't
that's
know.
less than half his age. I mean, gosh.
It just seems weird. And to be fair, I think it's awesome that Mike Tyson is, almost 60 years old and can do what he's doing. It's pretty cool. I aspire to be that nimble, and he looks healthy. He looks like he can still move around a little bit, right? I hope that when I'm 60, I can do stuff like that too. But he's fighting a 27 year
There's a
old
big
who does
difference.
know how to
Yeah.
fight.
There's a big difference between maybe looking good for 2 rounds versus going the full eight. Even if it is only
Yeah.
2 minutes over 3 minutes, there's a big difference there. If it starts to stretch into those latter rounds,
Yeah.
are we now talking about Jake Paul as the showman, just making this entertaining for everybody, keeping it respectable to the elder statesman here, going the full distance. But I don't know if I'm going to put money on this Weekend Trav, because if it's all fishy on the contract and stuff, I don't know if I want to put money on it. But I have the feeling we're probably going to see this thing go the distance, and maybe Tyson gets 2 rounds out of it on the scorecard.
I
You
can see
know,
Tyson being super active and actually surprising us for the first 2 to 3
yeah,
rounds and
exactly. That's
being
what
like,
I'm
and we're
thinking.
gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And then
We
as
have
soon as it
hope.
gets into the later rounds, I
Yeah.
do think, yeah. And I hope that what I hope is, and in Tyson's defense and all of his losses as a pro when he actually was fighting other pros like Lennox Lewis and those guys, he never actually really got knocked out, not legitly knocked unconscious. He always went down and he was just like, I think Buster Douglas knocked him silly, but the other fights that I saw him lose, he fell down, he kind of like looked up and was like, I'm not gonna get up.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing that against Jake Paul. If somehow he does get knocked down, because he has been knocked down, but he's never been knocked out cold where he was like
Yeah.
asleep, right? So I don't see Jake Paul doing that, but I hope that Mike knows that going into this fight, Jake Paul can punch. And I'm telling you guys that Jake Paul can punch. Like he's a bona fide puncher. Like he really is. Like our buddy Mike Perry, who fought him, he found that out too. Jake actually can punch.
Now
Okay.
check out his Jake Paul's resume and look at his knockouts. It's all with guys that drop hands. Okay. Mike Tyson keeps everything tight, right? His
Until he gets tired though.
That's
That's
a
what
good
I
point.
worry about.
That's a great point.
So, but also, all of Jake Paul's knockouts essentially, right, were against guys where he was a lot bigger than, okay? But he's bigger than Tyson too. He's taller wise. I mean, not as thick, right? But he's
That's
taller and
nothing.
he's
That's
bigger.
nothing new to
All
Tyson
these
though.
guys that yeah, it's not. But for Jake Paul, I'm saying the power wise, I don't know if Jake Paul will knock him out, obviously. I hope to God he doesn't. But Tyson's not really had the best chin in boxing either.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying, is that like the possibility that Jake Paul somehow does catch Mike Tyson, it is possible. I hope that Mike doesn't get tired or cocky or pissed off and try to just run at Jake Paul, and Jake Paul catches him with a stupid right hand and Mike goes down and then fumbles around to the ground. That would break my heart. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think it would break Jake Paul's heart in the long run when he looks at things and he's like, I just knocked out a legend and I made him
Yeah.
look stupid. So
Yeah.
this fight is just weird. It has weird vibes all over it.
Mm.
But I hope that it does bring positive eyes to the sport. I hope we see something competitive in there. I hope we see a very competitive Mike Tyson. If we can see a small glimpse of the old Mike Tyson, I think all of us will be super happy. Jake Paul, sorry, bro. This is not your night. This is going to be Mike Tyson's night, and I hope that he makes the best of it. And I don't want to be talking about this a week later about how Jake Paul knocked out Mike Tyson. I think we'll boycott it. I think I might boycott Jake Paul if he knocks out
No.
Mike Tyson.
I mean, a good question would be where would Jake go from there anyways? Like what would be next on the horizon? It's uh, what other veterans and heroes of the sport could you possibly go through that's gonna sell as well as this would sell, right? Are you now gonna have to fight actual real competition, guys your age, guys your record, not guys that are like 6-2 that are cab drivers. I'm talking like legit upcoming prospects that are
Yeah,
like that record. Because you could find them anywhere. You could find guys with
of
good
course.
records all over the place,
He's
and they
done that
look
a couple
and
of
they're
his last
they're
couple of
fry
fights.
cooks somewhere. So not nothing against fry cooks because our incoming president was a fry cook for a
I
day
knew
or a
it.
couple hours, an
So
hour,
I want
30
to
minutes.
touch on that what you just said, and you're not wrong. It's like, where does Jake Paul go if he knocks out Mike Tyson? Right. I had the pleasure of knowing a guy, Antonio Tarver, who, if anybody knows that name, he knocked out a legend, a super popular guy in Roy Jones Jr.
Mhm.
And I had a conversation with him. I was like, Antonio, like I said this to his face, Antonio Tarver. I was like, I hated you for the longest time, man. You knocked out my idol. Like at the time growing up, that was my first like really like big heartbreak, other than Tyson being knocked out by James Buster Douglas. But when Roy Jones got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, and Tarver looked at me, he was just like, man, you and the whole world, Trav. He goes, people hated me. And honestly, you would think your career would just take off after that, but it doesn't. That's the thing. Jake Paul is in a lose-lose situation here
Mm.
when it comes to boxing people. Because if you knock out Mike Tyson, you knocked out a legend, you jerk. If you get knocked out, you got knocked out by a
A
freaking
58-year-old
58 year
man.
old,
Yeah.
right? The only positive here is Jake Paul's making $40 million. Okay. So the best case scenario for Jake Paul is this is a super competitive back and forth fight. He ekes out like a split decision, or if they call it a draw, that's the best case scenario for Jake Paul. If they call this a draw and both guys got in some good licks, best case scenario, which I just talked myself into betting. I'm going to bet on a draw.
I got an interesting theory here, and maybe you can look. I don't have my app in front of me or close by.
Give it to me. Give it to me. I'll look it up.
What's a DQ?
It's going. I will let you know.
Because what if we
Right.
start go if the emotions of the fight and really getting the crowd and
I
let's say
could see
Mike.
Tyson body slamming him or
Exactly.
something,
What if
right?
Mike gets the first two rounds, Jake comes back, kind of gets the next three, maybe 4 rounds, and then it starts getting ugly and Mike just bites his nose off? What about
Oh,
that?
you figured the odds would be a lot. Oh my gosh, it's so Mike Tyson by KO, TKO, or DQ is only plus
Well,
225,
what's Jake Paul by DQ? Is it
minus 110. Jake Paul by KO, TKO, or DQ is minus
I
110, which
want
that means
yeah,
they're
it's
expecting that.
yeah, so nothing specific on like by itself disqualification.
No, there's no
Okay.
just
I'd
by
be
itself.
I'd be curious what that might be.
That's
That might be an
crazy.
outlier sort of fight because then it's like okay, so no one knocked out anybody. It went deep and it went kind of nuts at the end. Mike Tyson bit a piece of his face off. And then everyone goes home happy.
Dude, the odds are in favor of Paul winning by KO, TKO, or
Of
DQ.
course, they should
Paul
be.
by decision is plus 300. Tyson by decision is plus 1,000. But Paul by KO or TKO or DQ is minus 110.
All by
That's
decision sounds
insane.
pretty good.
I Yeah, it does. I mean, gosh dang, man, this tie is also plus 1,300 right now. It's looking pretty good. So dude, I don't know. This is a funky one. Don't throw any big money at it if you want to play around and have fun. Throw some small change
So
at this,
okay,
but
so if
I just
I've
don't
got to,
trust it
but I
though.
got to put, oh, I want to put you on the spot, not gambling, but I got to put you on the spot because people want to
Okay.
hear it. People want to see it. What do you think at the end of this fight? How do you think it ends? No gambling, just what does your gut tell you? How does this fight end?
I think it goes the distance. Who wins though?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Not your heart, your gut.
I know. My gut says Paul.
All by
My
decision.
heart says Tyson.
Sure. But
My
anytime
gut
we
says
gamble with
Paul
our
by
heart, what
decision.
happens?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is a weird fight though, and my gut says Jake Paul, which I've said from the beginning. I felt it from the beginning that Jake Paul is going to win by a decision, and people thought I was crazy. But oh, man, this is a tough one. I'm not having a lot of faith in my prediction abilities right now, and I usually have pretty good faith in those. But right
Well,
now,
if you want to
I
if
don't
you
know.
want to stand against something, I'm saying it. Paul by decision. That's mine. I'm not even wavering. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I'm gonna bet with my heart
Okay.
on a small bet though on a Mike
Sure.
Tyson by
Well, if it's
KO. I'll be
oh,
super
okay.
happy about that.
Okay.
If that happens, I'm gonna put a little just like, 5, $10 maybe on Tyson for that. But
I mean,
otherwise,
if you're telling me draw is plus 1400, I might do that.
yeah, I'll put like $5 on that too. I'll probably do multiple different bets, but
Why not?
I think the smartest decision though is there's an over under or there's a the total rounds. It's oh my gosh, it's 5.5 is the
Oh, I'd
over
go
under.
over on that.
Over
What?
is over is supposed to happen. What they're looking at, it's minus 120 for the over. I think that's
Okay.
the right bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Fight to go the distance, yes, is plus 220. I think I'm going to bet that for sure. Right? If you want to bet
Okay,
some money
because then it
just to
doesn't
go the
matter.
distance,
Yeah, because then it doesn't
yeah,
matter
it's
who
plus
who
220. What is that? What is it?
because
It's
Jacob's only plus 300, so that's not a massive difference
if you
between
bet
that.
100 on that to go the distance, it pays out
Hmm.
320.
Yeah, not
So
bad.
it
All
is
right.
what it
Well,
is.
it's things to
Listen,
look
be
at, folks. If
responsible. These are fun. We live in Florida. It's allowed. We
yeah,
have the Hard Rock app.
be
It's definitely
responsible,
allowed.
everybody. Be responsible. But
Yeah.
coming from the guys that drink while they talk boxing and they wear red hats, be responsible.
Listen, we're grown men. We're responsible with our negative behaviors.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
it's
perfect.
I don't know if it's
All right.
negative, but it's our behavior.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to gamble me money.
No, I mean, yeah, okay.
I don't know if the Bible specifically says that, but it's probably not good.
Well, if it does, I don't know
It's
if
a
it's
vice.
it's a vice, sure. If anyways, we're moving on. So Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, that's the main event. $40 million, Jake Paul. Good Lord, to Mike Tyson, 20. Jeez.
And it's funny how
Okay.
they word that. They say guaranteed. And I'm like, even though it's
Mm,
not pay-per-view, I wonder if they're going to get a percentage of all the people that signed up after this.
maybe that could be. Netflix, honestly, from the stock market world and subscriber base world, they've actually done really well this year. I'm surprised in
Yeah.
how I mean, Netflix has been around forever. How does not
Yeah.
everyone just have it anyways? Like, where are you finding new subscribers at? It's
Yeah, but maybe this is their breakout into doing live stuff. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, but I'm just
They're the only app, they're only like app really, in my opinion, that hasn't done live stuff,
one
right?
right, right. One thing I've just always been curious about all these kind of different companies when it's all about subscriber growth. I'm just like, eventually you kind of don't your base of people runs out, right? Like you can only get so many
I mean,
subscribers.
Netflix is across the world, so man, that's what they're
Very
going
true.
for.
So maybe
That's
that's
why
they
Tyson's global.
so I think that's what's probably where their growth is going to happen off of this event is
Yeah.
anything global because the US market I think is pretty saturated. Like most people kind of I think maybe I'm just, speaking from this high hill of opulence, but I think most people have Netflix at this point. I do. I don't even use it. Is that sad? I'm wasting like $15 a month. I don't even use it.
I mean, we canceled it for a while back, a couple like I don't know, 2020-ish or something, but I've
I
got
think
it
my
back.
cell phone bill pays for like they have a weird agreement. T-Mobile
Oh yeah, some
does.
of them do. Yeah.
So I
Where
think
you
that's
have
how.
ads, but you have Netflix. It's like $5 a month or something, four
Yeah,
ninety nine
well,
or
no, no,
something.
I don't have the ads version, but they like pay it, but it's like baked into my cell phone bill. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Whatever.
some like that. I remember my Sprint at the time. I had Sprint. It did something similar, but I think it was Hulu at the time. But anyway, you're not wrong.
Well,
Let's talk the real boxing matches now.
boom. Co-main event. Amanda Serrano taking on champion Katie Taylor for the undisputed junior welterweight women's titles. Who Taylor had won those off of Cam Chandler, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, and that was their second go round. Didn't give her the third fight yet. So that's been
Yet.
a point of contention with Katie Taylor. Like, why didn't you go the third go with that girl who gave you the opportunity to possibly win those, which you did the second time? Anyways, that might be down the road. But let's talk this fight in particular. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. It was fight of the year a couple years back, Weekend
2022.
Trav. And I don't know. Do they
Excuse
give
me.
us the same performance, do you think? Do they get the same sort of output from these two titans of female boxing?
Listen, in years past, if you talked about fight of the year candidates and the rematches, usually didn't completely live up to that hype. However, I think where we're at right now with women's boxing, I think that we are going to see another blockbuster
Mm,
because Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano were the first women to garner a guaranteed $1 million for a fight, right?
hmm.
So that's the first women boxers to both guarantee at least 1 million for the fight. Okay, they fought each other. So what I'm saying and what I'm getting at is they're still trying to prove their worth, essentially, right? To the world, like, hey, we're women, we deserve the same pay as the men.
Heroes roar.
So I think that they're not going to go out there and not give it their all. I think
Yeah.
they're going to go out there and like go after it, and rightfully so. Amanda Serrano always brings it, to be fair, and so does Katie Taylor. So I think we're in for another blockbuster. I do. I think that that's going to steal the show again,
Mm,
unless
mm.
somehow bullcrap happens in the Paul fight. But I think quality boxing wise, I think we're going to see a quality, high level, on the edge of your seat boxing match with Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. I think we have the candidate for a fight of the year because this is the end of the year too. This
Yeah.
fight is going to be in most people's memories. We
Correct.
usually do our fight of the years in December at the end of December, right? This one's going to be fresh in our memory. So I think Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor have the opportunity to be another fight of the year candidate for sure. I think that the blockbuster is going to be there because Amanda Serrano hurt Katie Taylor in that fight too. Didn't put her down, but almost put her down. I think going into this fight, Amanda Serrano now realizes that she can hurt Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor's had a loss after this as well. So her confidence isn't there like it was going into the first Amanda Serrano fight. So I like the odds for Amanda Serrano on this one. And I like Amanda Serrano. I like Katie Taylor. But I think that at the end of this one, though, the fans win B money because
Mm.
Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor are going to leave it all on the line and they're going to battle to the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Katie Taylor start a little tentative, and that's going to not work in her favor because Amanda Serrano is her motor is crazy. I mean, she'll be
Yeah.
from the start ready to attack. I tend to agree with you, Echo Chamber. I tend to agree with you. I think Amanda Serrano has the upper hand here against the champion. It would be good for her to get all those straps and then move forward. I mentioned a few weeks ago, could this possibly be the last fight? And you corrected me saying no, she wants her last fight to be in Puerto Rico. Maybe I don't know. This is a big stage weekend, Trav, and
Huge, bro.
it's
Cowboy Stadium.
it's massive. I don't even know how many people sit in the stadium. I don't know if it's sold out because it's just a massive
I heard there
venue.
were still tickets left. It's over
Um,
100,000 people
I mean,
there.
it's massive. I
They'll
mean,
fill it. I think they'll fill it because they'll give
yeah,
them away if they have to.
but
But this is, I made this prediction a long time ago. Remember, I think this will be the most watched fight of all time up to this point,
yeah,
of
I wouldn't be
all
surprised
time.
with all the Netflix eyes and they're able to track all that stuff. Um, I just wonder if that comes into play here somehow. I'm not trying to discredit either woman here on the fight, but this is a big stage and it's for any guy or gal. This is a massive stage that you're not used to, with a lot of pressure behind it. Especially for them. Now
Yeah.
they stood up to the pressure the first time around. Where was that?
Madison Square
Madison Square
Garden,
Garden, and
big
they did
stage,
phenomenal. Now
epic.
that was a big stage in the fact of where like just it was Madison Square Garden. It wasn't like
Yeah.
population wise, and it wasn't like a massive venue
Yeah.
like people. This is massive, okay? And they're co-maining up a legend in the sport, okay? Eh, I just wonder if this plays a part a little bit. I think to me, I feel like the fight starts a little tentative and then the ladies kind of open up. I wish it was a 3 minute affair like Amanda Serrano gave us in Orlando. I'm
Good
sure,
job, Amanda.
yeah, I'm sure Taylor's camp balked at that and the potential.
They did.
But I just, I don't know. We can try. My gut tells me Amanda Serrano is going to be victorious in this. Um, but we shall see. I'm looking forward to it. This is the fight that I've had circled on this thing the entire time. When this card was supposed to be months ago, this is the fight I had circled. It wasn't anything else.
They have Katie Taylor as minus 135 favorite,
Yeah, I don't. What's Amanda Serrano?
110 plus 110.
Yeah, so it's yeah.
10
I
bucks to
would put
win
money on
32.
Serrano.
Yeah, I like that one. Oh no, that
What
was
are
the
the
wrong one.
rounds?
Let me see here. 10 bucks to win 21 bucks. Let me look at the rounds. Oh, winning method. There we go. Right, that's what you go by. Katie Taylor by decision is minus 135. Amanda Serrano by decision is plus 175. Serrano by KO or TKO plus 500. Katie Taylor by KO or TKO plus 900. Tie plus 1200.
Over under on the rounds.
Oh my goodness. Katie Taylor in round three is plus 10,000.
Oh, what's the over under on the rounds total?
Under, where is that? Total rounds. Here we go. The over is 8.5 minus 800. It's going to go over. It'll go 10. I believe it's a 10 rounder.
Yeah.
Under 8.5 rounds was plus 450. It's going to go over. That minus 800 that's a
Yeah,
big over.
you would think.
I think it goes the distance. I don't think you see a knockout. If we did see a
Usually
knockout,
don't see it anyways. I mean, a
that's
high
a
profile
guaranteed fight of the
women's
year.
fight, high,
If
high,
it gets,
high, yeah, high profile women's fights, you don't see knockouts. So
no,
it's,
I
and not saying
mean,
anything against that. You just don't see it usually.
even in the low profile ones, you don't see knockouts either. To be fair, in the women's
Fair,
ones,
to be fair. So
that's
that
just being
is, so
truthful.
that's the co-main event. Folks, if you're tuning in for boxing on Netflix on Friday, November 15th, that's the one to be paying attention to.
Yep,
If you just enjoy boxing or you're new to the sport, don't tune in because of Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Tune
no,
in because of that. Okay. Know full well that the main event of those guys, that is a circus and that's a novelty. That's a novelty fight. Okay. So
yep.
it'll be entertaining, but the real boxing is Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, and the fights below it as well. So keep that in mind if you're tuning in Friday, November 15th on Netflix, coming to us from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Jake Paul taking on Iron Mike Tyson in the main event. You got Katie Taylor, the champ, undisputed for the undisputed junior welterweight title against Amanda Serrano. This is the second time these ladies grace us in the ring against one another. Weekend Trav, what else you got? Anything on this fight or any others on the card itself?
No, this is one that, like I said, I'm not really looking forward to because I don't want to see our beloved Mikey Tyson get beat up.
Sure.
But you know what? Dare to be great. I guess even at almost 60 years old, you can dare to be great and dare to do great things. And if your name is Mike Tyson, they will give you a platform to do that. So
Absolutely.
I'll be tuning in. Um,
Well,
yeah, I'm
I'll
not
give you a
crazy
rundown.
excited.
I'll give you a rundown beyond those two fights. Here's what we know the rest of the time, starting basically in opposite order of what they'll air. So you got Mario Barrios, who's the WBC welterweight champ. He's taking on Abel Ramos. You got Bruce Carrington taking on Dana Coolwell. Let's see. We also have Shadeja Green for the vacant WBO super middleweight title against Melinda Watpool.
We saw
Lucas,
her lose in Orlando over at Crib Royale.
yeah,
Shadashia. She
yeah.
lost to our
Eh,
girl.
don't expect too much out of that fight for the WBO super middleweight title. And then we have Lucas Badi taking on Armando Casamanica, who is the late replacement for
For
Corey
Corey
Marksman here from
Marksman.
Orlando. So there's boxing on the card, folks. It's not just the main event. There's
Yep.
boxing. So tune in. Netflix Friday evening, November 15th. I'm sure it's like 8 p.m. I didn't check the time.
I believe it
Uh,
starts at 8 p.m. Yep.
Yep. So that is that. We did want to turn gears a little bit because friend of the show, who has been on an interview many years ago at this point, Chris
Many moons ago.
Billam-Smith. He's the champ, one of the champs for the cruiserweight division, and he's taking on Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. And this is going to be unification world title fight for the WBO and WBA cruiserweight championships this Saturday. You can check it out if you're in the stateside. You can check it out on DAZN. If you're over across the pond, Sky Sports has you covered on that. Chris Billam-Smith sneakily has gotten up to 20-1 with 13 knockouts. Zurdo Ramirez obviously is up there, 46-1 with 30 knockouts. Now, Billam-Smith has a few advantages in this. Size, number one. I think it's size and grit. Gilberto Ramirez coming up in this weight and most recently became a champ in that weight class, but
He's pretty
known
tall for his weight class, though.
tall, but known for being, the 175 range and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
this is an interesting fight. What do you think about this weekend, Trav? Chris Billam-Smith, CBS, taking on, that's the gentleman, taking on Zurdo Ramirez. What do you think?
It is an interesting fight because everybody that I've witnessed making predictions are 100% going for Chris Bill or not for Chris for Zerto Ramirez.
Right.
We watched that DAZN where everybody made their predictions, and the only person that picked Chris Billam-Smith was Chris Billam-Smith.
Sure, sure.
Sometimes I like that though. He
Do you
backs
think,
himself.
but do you think it's because maybe just people don't know who CBS is? They don't know
So
who Chris
that's it.
Billam-Smith is.
You're exactly right. And that's exactly what it is. So I mean, listen, Billam-Smith has a very a tough, gritty style, and Zurdo Ramirez is a very good, slick boxer for that weight class. So I could see Billam-Smith making this an ugly war and coming out with some weird, gritty majority decision. And I would be
Yeah.
happy because Chris Billam-Smith is an alumnus to weighing in with Travis Hartman. He was one of my very first awkward interviews that I did in this corner. Now that I watch it back, I'm like, that was terrible. So we're gonna have to have Chris back on. But Chris, I'm rooting for you, bro.
Yep.
Everybody at weighing in with Travis Hartman is rooting for you.
Absolutely.
I know that you're the underdog, but I think you probably realize this. You've been the underdog most of your career, and you've still came out on top because you are a world champion. You've defended that title multiple times. And now I hope you get another strap. I hope that you can be a unified champion. But this is a tough fight, B Money.
Yeah.
Zurdo Ramirez is no joke. That's why he is the favorite. He's 46-1, big guy. He's also a lefty, 33 years old, 6'2.5". So he's pretty big. I'm pretty sure that Billam-Smith is like 6'1", 6'2". So there's not going to be much of a size difference, though, even though he is coming up in weight. Um, Dimitri
Bill
Bivol
Smith
is
just,
who
yeah,
his
that's
loss
right.
is to.
It just Bill Smith is it's beefier. He's definitely stronger. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I
I would
think
agree
that
with that.
yeah, he'll be prepared. Okay. There's one thing. If you don't know Chris Billam-Smith, not a household name, he's going to be prepared. His trainers are top notch. Okay. They
They are.
are
The McGuigan,
high.
Barry McGuigan's son, Shane McGuigan, is his trainer. And Shane McGuigan now has trained multiple world champions in his young professional boxing training career.
And Shane prepares him to win the fight based on the fight. It's interesting whenever I watch CBS fight, it's just kind of every fight is a little bit different. Their game plan is tailored to the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
that's
is
why I'm
smart.
curious how this one is going to kind of work and play itself out. Is if it's just going to be an ugly fight, just taking
Yeah.
away some of that slickness, then that's definitely upper hand CBS, definitely upper hand Chris
Yeah.
Billam-Smith. I'm trying to take my heart out of the equation too. I'm not sure how I'm going to put my dollars at play on this fight. I want to check it out as we approach Saturday for sure. But don't sleep on this, folks. Don't sleep on it. And who knows? B Money could be wildly crazy, and Zurdo Ramirez comes in and just wipes the freaking canvas with them. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be ugly, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to get drawn out to the finish.
If Billam-Smith wants to win this fight, he's going to have to put the pressure on him, make it ugly, make it a dogfight. Don't give Zurdo Ramirez room to punch.
Right.
And if anybody knows anything about Billam-Smith, that's what he does. He never gives you room, and he smothers you, and he
Yep.
takes away all of the range that you think you have. He takes your range away, and he comes right onto you. And so that's it. He needs to stay on top of Zurdo Ramirez because Zurdo Ramirez is a nice lefty style, but if you give Zurdo time, he will pick you apart, right?
Yeah.
Billam-Smith doesn't give anybody time. So I think this is an interesting fight. I don't think Zurdo Ramirez is the overwhelming favorite because people know him, and that's what you're saying. You're correct because he's fought a lot of the household names. He's fought the old school people like Arthur Abraham. He fought Dimitri Bivol. He's fought the guys that people know, right? And he's beaten some of them. He's only lost to Bivol, and I'm talking about Zurdo Ramirez. He's only
Yeah.
lost to Bivol.
Well, it's the
He's a
thing.
very good fighter.
North American talent don't know who Chris Billam-Smith is because he's
Yeah,
fought most of his career basically in England.
I think all of it. I mean, has he fought in the
Probably.
U.S. once yet?
I don't think so. We talked about that with him. That the fact that he wanted to at some point, that was kind of one of his goals, was to hook up with some sort of a gym or a camp out here and potentially do that. But that was back a couple of years ago, and the game plan's been a little different.
2021
So it's yeah, we met him in Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, we met him in
at the
Dallas.
Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell fight. Remember that, B
Yeah.
Money?
Yeah, we were sitting there with Luke Campbell's team because we were all in forced eating situations and stuck in the
We're in
hotel
the
because at the
bubble.
time, because of the big C COVID, we weren't allowed to do anything. We had to walk around with a mask on inside of a hotel, breathing the same air no matter what. Stupid. Anyways, that being said, Chris Billam-Smith was there, but he was kind of an unknown. He was like, I think at the time, like what, how many
12 or
fights
10.
has he had?
Yeah,
He was like,
he had under 15 when we met him. That was in
yeah, definitely.
2021.
Yeah, but just like unknown. None
Yeah.
but Shane McGuigan at the time said to us, he's the guy to pay attention to. Pay
Yeah,
attention to
and
him.
he was right. He became a world champion at
Yep.
cruiserweight. He's a cruiserweight world champion. Like, good for them. Like, I don't care. People want to discredit the cruiserweight division, but winning a world title, I don't care what division you're in. He's the champion of the
Bingo.
world. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, it's pretty freaking special, man. Like, I never got a chance to win a world title. I'd give my left testicle to win a world title.
That's the good one or the bad one?
They're both good, first of all.
Okay. I was just checking. I was just
But it's pretty special. So
checking.
whether you like his style or not,
Which one
it's
hangs lower?
special to win a world title.
Which one's
Who?
lower?
They're both, I think,
Okay, just don't bring
the
the
right
camera
one.
down. Okay.
The
Anyways,
right one, I guess. I don't know.
you're right. And win or lose or draw, this is super proud of this guy and for his family, his young family, and everything else.
Yeah,
The
wife and a kid
strides
now,
he's made
right?
in his career, it's amazing. So we have our full support behind Chris Billam-Smith. You know, I yeah, hope to hell he's the victorious one at the end of it, because that'll be such a springboard for him against this name.
Yep.
First time he's really taking on a high profile name like this. It
Yep.
will be amazing for his career. So anyway, amazing for his career. He's already a freaking champ. He could have
Yeah,
two
I know.
belts.
We're
He's
saying
gonna have
that.
two belts now when he
Yeah.
wins. So, anyways,
Good for him.
that is this Saturday. DAZN, if you're here stateside, if you're overseas, I think Sky Sports got your back. And in fact, I think this is free on DAZN if you already have the service. I don't think it's a pay-per-view. So
Yeah,
keep
it's
that in
not.
mind. Weekend draft on Saturday. I'll be at a wedding, so I cannot watch it, unfortunately.
I will definitely tune in so we can follow us on our Instagram when you go Travis Hartman or any other places. So we're on the Tick and the Talk. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Yep.
Follow us, subscribe to us,
Yep.
show us some love, or B Money might knock on your door.
Hmm.
And what will you do?
Well,
Knock, knock.
I'm gonna knock, but then I'm also gonna ring the doorbell and alternate to really irritate you.
You're
And then
so
I'm
petty.
gonna cover up the ring. I'm gonna cover up the ring camera at the same time, so you won't know who it is. And I'm gonna keep doing it until you open the door, and then I'm gonna show you these hands. You don't want to see those hands,
I'm
and then
scared of those
I'll just show them
hands.
to you. I'm just gonna show them to you,
You're not gonna do anything with them.
and then I'm gonna flex at you, okay? And then you're gonna say, "I'm sorry, I'll subscribe."
Yes, sir. We apologize.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go door knocking. Okay, we're gonna be like politicians. We're gonna start door
Oh my
knocking and say, "Hey,
God.
have you
I'm
watched our
so
show?
happy
Watch
that's
our show."
over. So happy that's over, by the way. There's
Yeah,
someone that
you and me
works, I
both.
work from home most of the week. You know how many people were knocking like that last week leading up? Oh,
The emails, the
oh,
text messages, the mail.
oh, they've all ended. It's so great. So nice.
Well, kind of. I've been seeing text messages for the Democrats. They're trying to raise money because Kamala's $20 million in debt after raising $1 billion.
Oops. I guess,
1 billion. Is that
well,
not crazy?
we won't talk about the paid appearances that they had to bring to try to garner attention, but
Yeah, where do you
that,
think that $1 billion came from? Or
well,
it went to?
hey, those celebrities, whatever, musicians, smartest people in the room. Heck yeah, I'll take your check. I'll take that money.
Ugh, they are. Fucking politics, dude. Such an expensive race.
What else we got? We got final thoughts. Swinging it to you.
What are you swinging? We swinging. Final thoughts, man. I hope that boxing doesn't take a big hit over the weekend. That's
Mm,
it. I love boxing. We've had a really great year in 2024. I hope that it doesn't take this weird hit because if Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson, I think boxing takes a hit. In my opinion,
mm,
I do. I think people are going to be like, "Man, Jake Paul's doing this? Like what? Like this can't be that hard." Like I don't know. I don't want any funkiness going on. I hope that we've already had enough drama for 2024, I guess, with the election and all that too. Like, I just kind of want to cruise into the new year of 2025. I want to see no bumps. I want to see the tide just be right where it needs to be. Okay, level. And by that, I want to see a 8 round competitive fight back and forth where neither guy gets hurt and there's a decision but it's like pretty equal and we move on. That's
mm,
what I want.
mm.
That's what in a
Or
perfect world. That's my early Christmas present.
or does Mike Tyson take it and in similar fashion like we saw last week, the adults take over again?
You know what? I would be happy with that.
Interesting. And boxing in the boxing world, that's all I meant. Not no,
Oh,
nothing
okay.
else. Nothing
Okay.
else. Nothing else.
Nothing
Um,
else.
Anyways, well, that's that. Weekend Trav. I appreciate your time here. If you have yet to subscribe to our show, our content, please do so on YouTube, maybe at Rumble if you're catching us on Instagram. All one word, weighing in with Travis Hartman. That's weighing in like you're standing on a scale. Weighing in with Travis Hartman at Instagram, and then on YouTube, you can find us there as well. If audio podcasts are your thing, you can find us on every major audio podcast outlet possible. Just look up Wayne and with Travis Hartman. We're out there. This is episode 169 in the books, and I'm just going to have to say it. That over there is the talent, Travis Hartman, aka Weekend Trav, smooth into the end of the year.
That over there is B Money, aka the producer, the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon Waters. I haven't said that in a while, but that's B Money. Who? Let's just get through the year, bro. Let's get
I'm
through the
good.
year. Let's just make it nice and chill. Okay, nice. If you're hearing the words that I'm speaking right now, we're just gonna drift into 2025.
Oh, should we get start one of those ASMR things?
Call
That's
me
it.
we're stupid.
We are.